So today we're going to talk about grades, learning targets, and rubrics. Ready? Okay. So, you might be asking yourself in this whole grand scheme of thing, how do I check my grades? Well, this is a good question. So let's answer that really quickly. So number one, you could check the front page of our Blackboard, where you first start up this first front pager. It's got your report card right there. That's pretty sweet if you ask me. So you can see here, you can look at just about any class that you have, and some of them might actually give your grade, and some of them are going to give this view button. So if you click on any of those things, what you're going to do is it's going to link you back right to your My Grades. And then you can look at anything from your calculated trend grades, as well as your semester grades, and any other grades that you have succeeded in completing throughout the whole year. And that's a whole lot of grades. So you can also just go into your class. So for instance, if we were going back here, and we're just like, well, I don't even really want to do that. I think I just want to go and back in here. Well, don't worry, because remember, My Grades is in this left-hand column right over here, and it's going to bring you right back to your grades. So how do you pass? And the first thing I can say, and really the only thing, is complete your assessments. Your summative assessments are the most important thing you could do to pass. And each assessment has a learning target that's going to go with it. So if we go back to Blackboard, we can go to our pace chart and see those specific learning targets. Those are the T numbers, T1, T2, T3, and T4. And of course, the red assignments are the ones we need to pass. So your successful grade in an assignment will become one mark on your long way to victory. But what's a target? That's a good question, because the targets are what we focus on at eAchieve Academy. And here in the Social Studies department, we have 4 different targets. T1 has to do with writing, so we don't do a lot of pen and paper stuff, we do a lot of keyboarding, and that's basically testing how well you're writing. T2 is all about reading, so it's all about looking at information, reading it, watching it, getting it into your brain. T3 is actually taking what you understand from the reading and watching and understanding what it means and analyzing it, so comparing and contrasting, cause and effect, all that great stuff. And of course, T4 is that communication target where we're discussing and we're debating great things like old philosophers. But you might be asking us, how do we grade? Well, in reality, we just kind of sit there and, throw something at a target. It's really not so hard. We don't really grade like that. I'm kidding. We use rubrics. Rubrics are really important, and a rubric is a way we use to grade your work, because basically a rubric is going to give us a basic idea of how well you're performing in school. And each assignment has its own specific rubric. So we can look at this one talking about what American political processes and all that other fun stuff, and we look at it on a scale of incomplete, basic, proficient, and advanced. And you can get an idea of what we're looking for by just looking at the qualifiers inside the rubric. So how's it used? So how do we grade you? So first we look at the requirements for the assignment. Then we look at the work that you turned into us, and then we match the requirements, we match the rubric, and then you get voila, a grade. And you can remember, find those grades in My Grades, which is pretty cool. So what happens when you get an incomplete? Because a lot of times, as what we've noticed before, there is an incomplete area. Well, incompletes mean you didn't meet the requirement for the assignments and for that rubric specifically. So you can't be like the glorious mac and cheese. And assignments marked incomplete can and should be redone. Now you might want to ask how. And really the first thing, you should really contact your teacher, because teachers give you feedback about every assignment. It tells you what you did and what you didn't do and things you can improve on. So if you look back at your grades, you can see down here, some of them specifically have comments. And in these comments, you'll see a really wonderfully displayed amount of comments for you. And depending on how well you did, you'll get a list of things you can work on and things that you, of course, did really great at. So step 1 is reading the feedback. Redoing the assignment is step 2, so whether you're using Word or Google Docs, doesn't really matter. And step 3 is resubmitting. Help, my Mr. Nowitzki, it's not letting me resubmit my assignment. Well, one does not simply resubmit an assignment without emailing the teacher. I can't stress it enough. Contact your teacher through staff information. Remember, you can find through that really nifty sidebar here, clicking on staff information. And basically what's going to happen is the teacher is going to let you redo the assignment. Now you might be asking yourself, can I avoid incompletes? Well, certainly you can. But the key is, of course, is knowing the rubrics and really knowing how you're going to be graded. And that's going to be your first step towards success at the eAchieve Academy. Brought to you by the eAchieve Academy.